Okay, so there's a lot of ways I've thought about how this video would go or should go, but I kind of realized that I can't really write a script for it, especially considering how unscripted the last couple years have been, and that's kind of what I'm going to touch on. Okay, so basically, um, according to YouTube, the last video that I uploaded was almost 3 years ago now. Um, it was July of 2018, and honestly, to me, it doesn't even feel like that long just because so many weird things have happened, and I kind of wanted to give a bit of an explanation on what happened and what's been going on, and tell you kind of what's coming next to anyone who's still subscribed to me and still interested in seeing content from me. Um, so basically, back around the time that I uploaded my last video, my family was having some money problems. As a cost-saving measure, we kind of decided to cut our internet down to a cheaper provider, and didn't think it was going to be nearly as bad as it was. But it turned out that I could barely even watch YouTube videos on it. And under those conditions, I really couldn't like record and upload or especially stream. So that kind of sucked, and that was gonna be a short break in me uploading videos and doing content and stuff. But eventually, when our money problems started getting fixed, and we're like, okay, we can get better internet now. Then the next thing that happened was I finally got my first kind of real job. I was a sales associate at Walmart, and I really liked that job actually. But at that point, I kind of needed to focus on doing that. It was my source of income and just kind of the thing I needed to focus on. So again, YouTube just kind of got pushed to the wayside, both YouTube and Twitch. And I always intended to get back to them eventually. Um, but yeah, it didn't really work out that way. But as time went on, I stayed at my job for quite a while, and I kept having YouTube and Twitch in the back of my mind. It was always something that I loved doing, like a lot. It was one of my favorite things to do, and it always really sucked that I kind of didn't really have time to do it and didn't have the greatest kind of gateway back into, getting into the swing of it. Um, and then after a while of me being at that new job, COVID started, the entire pandemic and everything. And I kind of resigned myself to the fact that I was probably gonna get sick because, like I said, I was a sales associate at Walmart. And I interacted with people every day, and at the beginning of the pandemic, people just kind of all the restrictions weren't in place yet. And of course, I got sick, and of course, I had to be out of work for a while. And I actually had a cough for like months. Like literally months, and since it was kind of towards the beginning of people learning about the virus and everything, my doctors were just like, we don't really know why you're still coughing, but I mean, it's still a symptom, so please stay out of work and just try to get better however you can. And it was this whole thing, so I was out of work forever, and I kept thinking, like, I really wish I could record right now, but of course I was coughing, like, literally multiple times every single minute, and it wouldn't have made, like, good content, I guess. So that was just one more thing that was added on, and eventually my cough went away enough, and I was like, oh cool, I can record. And then I remembered, actually, no, now that my cough is starting to not be here anymore, I can go back to work. And then that was it again. I had to focus on my job. Um, and then I was back in work for about 2 weeks, I'd say 2, 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden I realized I was having breathing problems again. Um, Back when I first had COVID, my breathing problems weren't that bad. For me, it was mostly just cough, like really, really bad cough, being really tired. And then I had one day where my appetite was completely gone. But shortness of breath was never that much of a problem for me when I was like in my main rounds of being sick. And my doctors were like, we don't know if you can get it again, but we'll check, make sure. Checked, I didn't have it again, but I still couldn't breathe. Um, so I had to go off of work again, and my doctors were like, well, you need to exercise and like build your lungs back up. We think you might have gotten some damage from COVID, and it's just kind of showing itself now that you got back to work and started using your lungs more. Um, so what happened was it was like, okay, you need to exercise, but don't exercise at this altitude, because I lived in Colorado. Yeah, we were at a really high altitude where the air was thin, and that just kind of made the problems even worse. So it came down to the fact that we actually needed to move. And I'm actually in South Carolina right now. That's where I'm recording this. And again, it was just like, okay, we need to go through this whole process. And while we're doing this, I don't have time to record and do all that stuff. And now we're here. And I mean, my breathing still isn't great, but it's better. And I have some free time. And I guess throughout all of this, I've just kind of realized there's no real perfect time to come back. Something's always going to be going on, and I guess I just wanted to tell everyone who's hung on this long or who is still interested in seeing stuff from me that I haven't forgotten about this channel. I haven't forgotten about my Twitch channel. I still want to record. This is something that I really do love doing, and I'm going to say right now I don't know exactly the day I'm going to be coming back, and I don't know what I'm going to do more. I'm still thinking of games that I want to do and whether I'm going to do them on YouTube or Twitch, probably a little bit of both. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of fill everyone in, because not great recently. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say. Thanks for listening, and I guess I'll see everyone in my next video.